everybody, it's Robyn Scherzer with Robyn Stampin' Hood. Welcome to the hood and welcome to my advanced fun folds card. You know, they're not difficult cards we're going to do today, but they do look like they might be difficult. So it just takes a little patience on a few of them. So join me for some fun. So the first card is called a four-fold card. I'm going to show you what it looks like. So we had a class here in the studio the other day and it got a little abused. So don't mind the ink stains. So this is what the card looks like and you open it up like that. So lots of fun. Now, if you wanted to do the back sides, you absolutely could. You could add another white panel in here, whatever you would like to do. But I'm just going to do this basic design here and show you what it's all about. Okay, so the first thing you're going to need, of course, is your scorer trimmer. And you will have to extend it out. And hopefully I have room on my messy old desk here. So you do need 12 by 12 paper to do this because this piece is 11.5 by 5.5. So you can get out of a 12 by 12 piece, you can do 2 of these cards, obviously. So the first thing you're going to do is do some scoring on the horizontal. And I'm just going to start over here because it's easier for me to do a 1/4 inch. So your first score is a 1/4 inch. So we're going to do that. And I'm just going to flip it now and continue on like I did the 1/4 inch over here. Instead of the other way. So it's like I said, it's easier when you have the smaller measurements to do it off of this side. So your first score is 1/4 inch and then 3 3/4. So that's 3 3/4. And then your last score is 7 1/4. So a 1/4 inch, 3 3/4, and 7 1/4. Okay, so those are your scores on this 11.5 by 5.5 sheet of paper. And so that's all you're gonna do with scoring, but we do need to do a little cutting. So I'm gonna just close my arm here for a second so we can get a better looky-loo at that. All right, so this 4-inch cut needs to be, or score needs to be at the bottom when you do this. So you're gonna go to 5/8. I know we all hate the eighths, right? But the 5/8 is the larger tick mark after your 1/2 inch mark. So again, I'm doing it off of this side just because it's easier for me to hold. So there's my 1/2 inch. Oh, can you see that? I don't think you can see that, can you? There you go. So there's my 1/2 inches right here, okay? And then the 5/8 would be this next bigger tick that sits between the 1/2 inch and the 3/4 inch. So I know this is the hardest part. So it's going to sit there and we are actually going to use our cutting blade for this. I'll scoot that up just a little bit. And I'm going to cut up to this last score line right here. So I'm just going to hit right there. And yep, so I hit right at the score line and then I'm just gonna come in with my snips. Oops, if I can get my snips. And I'm just gonna cut right along the score line. If you feel like you might not be a good snips person, use your cutter to do that as well. All right, so that's all we have to do for the scoring part of it. So now let's go ahead and fold it. So this is always gonna be your back and then your front. And then we want to fold in this little piece because that's going to kind of be our hinge piece for this. So I'm going to just give it a real good bone foldering or what do they call it? They call it burnishing. I'll call it bone foldering. Okay, so now this is what your card should look like. Now then you're going to take another piece that you've cut ahead of time that this is 2 3/4 by 4 1/4. And this is actually going to be the front piece and we're going to lay it right at the bottom. And I'm just going to use some glue. You could use your tear and tape too. So I'm going to use some glue. You know, my lights are being a little weird, so let's see if we do that, if that helps a little. Okay. Woo! I just gave it way too much happiness. I'm going to go a little further because I know it does go a little further up. I'm actually going to take some of that off because I feel like that's a little too much, and we'll get some. So I'm just going to take a little piece of something here and scoop some of that off there so we don't have it all bleeding all over. Okay, so we want to lay this piece along our hinge at the bottom. Okay, so I'm just making it even with the edge here and the bottom. And we're just going to hold that for a second. You can kind of already see the little layers there. All right, so now that's what your card looks like. This is the front of it. So we have this goofy little piece here that we want to cut away. So I'm just going to, again, take my snips and I'm going to cut along the score line and there. And there you go. So now we have the base of our card, and you can see, whoop, whoop, opens nicely. All right, so now I cut 2 pieces of lemon lolly, and these are 2.5 by 4. So they're gonna be my bases for this, and this is gonna kind of cover up that seam there. And it's just to cover it up, and if you wanna add something else to it, you could, but for me, it was just kind of covering it up. And I probably should add something there, but I didn't. So there's the first piece right there. So again, these are 2.5 by 4. And so that's for the front of that piece and the back of that piece. And like I said, the back piece is mainly to cover it up. I suppose we could put a piece of DSP there to kind of make it pretty, and maybe I will do that. So we got that. Okay. So now that's our front, and the front and the back of that first piece. Okay, so then I cut a piece of white that is 2.25 by 3.25. And is that it though? I think that might not be it. So let's look at that. Nope, that's my other piece that's gonna go on the back. So how about if we do the back piece first, since I seem to have that one ready to go. So this is from the Mediterranean Blooms suite. So I'm going to add this to the back. And this is 5.25 by 4. So this is your normal size card that will fit fine in an envelope. It's just a different shape. Okay, so we're going to do that as our back. And then I'm going to take this piece, so you can write on this piece. But what I do want to make sure is when I'm closing this, I don't want this white showing. So I'm just going to scoot it over just a little bit so it's not showing, okay? So just make sure when you lay that down that you do that. Now this white piece is 4.25 by 2.75. All right, so again, I'm just gonna offset it a little bit so you have the writing, so you have some place to write on this card. And you know what? I did find a piece of lemon that I had cut that I'm just gonna put here to give it a little decorative look. And if you wanted to add like, I probably even have a little label I could add in there, that I have all these just rando labels that I have in a cup that I've cut extra of. That would probably be really cute there. So if you had something like that too, I'm just gonna grab my little cup and see what I have over here. If I have anything that immediately fits. Like that would be cute right there. So if you have a piece like that, that would work. You know what? I'm just going to add that since I have it out. How about that? All right. That is just an add-on. I did not plan this. My class attendees did not do that part of it. I just, as I'm looking more at it, I'm thinking, oh yeah, we need to do that. Okay. So then let's see, what's our next? Our next piece is going to be stamping the front of this. So we're going to take this piece, which is 2 1/4 by 3 1/4. And I grabbed my Mediterranean blooms again, and we're gonna do a little bit of stamping and coloring. Oops. And because this stamp is a little bit bigger, I like to do this first just to make sure I'm getting all the coverage that I need on it. And then I might just do this too, just to make sure I have what I need. Okay, so I'm gonna set this a little higher because I need to put some words right there. So this is not fitting on the whole paper, and it shouldn't. So I think I just messed it up though when I did that, but we'll take a look at it, won't we? All right, oh, I think I did okay. All right, so we got that. And then we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna color this in with blends. And I just used my Daffodil Delight, my holy goodness, Cajun Grace, and Old Olive, and then this is the Pecan Pie. So I'm just using the tip ends of my markers because it's just easier with these small little branches and flowers and things to use the small end first. So this is the dark, and I'm just gonna do my lines that Stampin' Up has given me for my shading. That's, for me, it's the easiest way to do it. And then we're just gonna go ahead and color it in. And because the area is so tiny, using the pointed end of the marker really does work best. So that's all colored in. And that, beautiful. Okay, so you get the idea. You'll color in all the different elements that you need. Okay, so I've gotten this all colored in, and then I'm gonna go ahead and just lay this right here. Well, we need to do some stamping first though, because we need to put our little hello on this before we go any further. And we'll use the stamp here. And hopefully I just stamped. Ooh, I did good, okay. Sometimes I don't always do the best. All right, so that's good. Okay, so that one's good. And we're gonna go ahead and put this on the front. And this is the Citrus Blooms bundle that I'm using for stamping. The paper is the Mediterranean Blooms, so it goes with that suite if you're interested. And that is still on sale to the end of this month at 15% off, so that's good. Okay, so there's the front of the card. Now we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this inside piece here. And I'm gonna stamp it first though. You can see on my sample, I have just checking in, but I realized after I stamped it, I don't really want the end to be seen. So I'm gonna move my stamp over just a little bit. So let's grab our black again, and we're gonna remount this on the block so it fits correctly. We don't wanna all crazy. So I like to line up my stamps on my grid. And then hopefully when I stamp it, it'll be correct. So let's check that out before I actually stamp on the paper that I have it right. Yeah, that looks good. So we're gonna go ahead and stamp on this inside piece, and I'm not adhering it because again, if I mess it up, at least I can flip it over and use the other side. I am a little cattywampus maybe. Let's try it again, and then we'll pick the best one. How's that? So let's do that again, get it nice and inked up. And we're gonna do it right here. This might be a little better because I'm looking down at it. Yep, that seems to be better. So we're gonna go ahead then and put that right here. Oh yeah, that's a much better stamp from what I did before. And then we're gonna do this. Okay. And then I cut out from the paper, I cut out these blooms because I thought they'd be really fun right here. So I am gonna cut off this piece here. So I'm just gonna use my snips though to do it, so it's not totally sticking out. There we go. And I'm gonna glue it down. This is such a fun card. You feel like when you're opening it, there's gonna be a surprise in each of your little corners there. So let's see, we're gonna lay it like this. Okay, perfect. I'm gonna get my glue back together there. Press it down a little bit. There you go. So now your card is done, except we need some bling, right? We always need some bling. Oh my gosh, yes. So let's grab our Mediterranean. These are actually the opal rounds that go with that suite. And on my card, I had some of the yellow ones, but I see we only have leftover from my class. We only have some of the white ones, and that's okay too. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna use those here. Put one there and up here. And now if I wanted to, I could have grabbed my Daffodil Delight and colored those in, but I think that's fine just like that. So there you go. There is the first card, which is called a fourfold. And again, I might go back in and add a piece right here just to give it a little bit of something, something. But you can see how cute that would be. All right, on to the next card. Okay, so the next fun fold card is a side flap card. And you can see how stinking cute this is, right? Oh my gosh, I love this so much. So let's go ahead and get started. This one's super easy. I just think that when people, you know, kind of look at this, they're a little intimidated, like what's happening here? So you could also put like some kind of a gift card holder over here if you wanted. It would be so cute that way. All right, so let's get started. Super, super easy. So I'm just using a regular 8.5 by 11 piece of crumb cake, and you're going to score it into 4 quadrants. So you're gonna score at your 4 1/4, like you would be cutting it in half, right? And then you're gonna turn it and score it at 5 1/2. So you're gonna have the 5 equal quadrants on your card that are scored. Can you see that? I know it's a little hard sometimes with my lighting. So then we want to cut out this top left hand piece, or you can do the top right hand. It doesn't matter. I just preferred the left hand for some reason. So now I'm going to not score anymore. I'm going to just take my cutter and see this little line right here. I'm lining it up with my score. So I'm going to cut up and I'm going to hold it in place. Yep, I hit right where I need it to be. So now I'm going to turn it, and I'm running it right along the score line, and then I'm going to cut down to, I'm hitting this against this score line so I don't go over. And my piece should come out. Yay, it did. So that worked. So that's all you do for the scoring and cutting. Well, I'll take that back. That's all you do for the scoring and the one cutting. But now I want this piece to be just a tad bit smaller than this. If you look at my card, you can see this is a smaller piece than the original. So we're gonna cut off a 1/4 inch on each side. So I'm using this side of my cutter, and I'm just lining it up with the 1/4 inch. And again, I'm using this as my guide to where to start, because I don't want to start too far back. Otherwise, I'm going to cut the cardstock, and I'm just a tad bit, so I'm going to move it. All right, we're going to cut up. And you can see, and then I'm going to take my snips and snip that off. But then I'm going to scoot it over to this side and do the exact same thing. And while I'm standing, it's probably easier. So I'm just going to bring the blade down, and I'm keeping an eye on my little marker. And I should have hit, oh, I did a little over, but that's okay. It still works. So now I'm just going to take my paper snips, snip that off, snip that off, and now I have my fold-in piece. Now I could do it this way, which I'm gonna end up doing it this way, because when you fold your cards, you always fold into the mountains. So these are the mountains of my scores. So on this card, my mountains just happen to run this way. So just keep that in mind when you go ahead and you do your scoring, okay? So we're gonna do that. Let's give it a little burnish with our bone folder to make sure it has a nice little fold here. Okay, and I had a ton of this paper, so I wanted to use this up for this card, and I think it actually worked out really good. So I cut a piece of just 5 1/4 by 4 for my front. And look at all the fun little butterflies. Isn't that cute? So we're just gonna go ahead and put it down. If I had been really thinking, I probably would have matted this with a different color just to have it stand out, because I did matte the inside one, and I should have been consistent, but you know, that's why it's Adventures in Stamping with Robyn. All right, so I'm gonna just lay that, frame it out. Okay, beautiful. And then I did take the postage, what's it called? Perennial postage, I think it's what it's called, are these dies. So I've cut out 2 of these and one of these smaller ones for my yay. And the yay and everything is coming out of the stamp set Simply Said. And I'm gonna realign this because it looks like someone unaligned it when they were in class the other night. Let's see here. I think we're good. We'll stamp it just to make sure I'm on track there. And I'm using Pretty Peacock. So we'll give a stamp, stamp, stamp. Oh, beautiful. Perfect. Couldn't ask for better, right? So I'm going to pop that up with dimensionals. And I'm actually gonna use 3 on this because I don't want it to fall down in the middle there. You know, you do not want to give a fallen down card. Very tacky. Oops. All right, I can do this. I know I can. There we go. Oh my gosh. I know, girls, and guys, there's a much easier way to do this, but I chose to do it the hard way. Okay, so we're just gonna lay the yay over here. You could put it anywhere. And then of course we have to have more butterflies, right? So we're gonna take butterflies. We're gonna add a butterfly here, yay. And then add some butterflies into the flowers, because of course you have to have some butterflies in your flowers, right? We get really big bumblebees in our flowers, which I love. You can just see they're happy, moving along, doing what nature intended. But I needed some of these too, so we're gonna use some of these as well. We'll give, I'm not gonna do that there, but we'll give it some extra spotting, maybe one up here. And, oops, hello, come on. I can do it. I can do it. We want to do a little triangle, so we'll do one there. And we'll do another big one down at the bottom. How about there? Cute. So that's the front of our card. Let's get you back where you need to be. Okay, so let's open it up and do the next part of our card. So you can see again, this is gonna go the other way for me, but I'm gonna go ahead and stamp both of those while we have the ink out. Oops, my drawer is not wanting to close. Bear with me here 1 second. I just need to grab my pad here. So I'm actually going to stamp off just a little bit. So I'm going to grab these two pieces here. And this is from the Painted Lavender, which goes with this paper. And I'm going to use Highland Heather. And we'll do Highland Heather. Get it nice and inked up. And I'm just going to do one off the side here. And then I'm gonna grab my other one and do it off the other side. Okay, and we got that there. Beautiful, I love it. All right, whoops. So we're done with that. And then I'm gonna come in again with the Pretty Peacock, and let's go ahead and stamp our other sentiments. And one is Let's Celebrate. So, do I want to keep it the same? Sure, we'll keep it the same. So this is the Let's Celebrate. I think I'm not gonna go over my flowers like I did on that one. Yeah, just do that. Cute. And then we're gonna do on the second one, the Happy Birthday. And again, these sentiments come from the stamp set Simply Said, but you could use whatever your heart has. Happy birthday. Yay, I love it. Okay, let's get these out of my way before I put my hands in it, because you know I will. All right, we don't need that anymore. So let's go ahead and assemble our cards. We got our pretty front. So now this is going to be a little different because we're going to open the other way. But this is, again, this is part of that suite of the Painted Lavender. So we'll go ahead and put this down. I know somebody told me they weren't crazy about the crumb cake and the lavender, but I think it's pretty. I think it works for what it needs to do. All right. Do that. And then we're going to put the Let's Celebrate on top of it. It's supposed to be really hot here today. I am not. So I'm staying in the studio because I'm not a hot girl. I get hot and I don't like it. So I'm staying in the studio. All right, so let's do this next inside. So this inside, I did mat it, which again, I probably should have done that on the outside too, but I didn't. But you can now take it and make it your own. Okay, so pretty. The Pretty Peacock is just gorgeous. Gorgeous. Okay. And then we are gonna lay that down, perfect mat. And then we'll put this on top and we'll be all done. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. All right. There we go. Easy, easy. So you can see, fold it, yay, yay, yay. So like I said, I think this is called a side fold card. So there's two different. My paper here had a little bit more flowers. This one doesn't, and that's okay. It all works great. So that was card number 2. On to card number 3. Okay, so the third card is called Mini Card. I know if you're gonna go, what? Mini Card Topped Fun Fold. So this is it. This is probably one of my favorite cards now. So you open it, open it, open it. Oh my gosh, and it's so super easy. Now you could do it this way, laying it that way, or you can do it this way as well. But I kind of like it this way because it does help kind of hold it down a little bit. So let's get started. So we need to get our lemon lolly paper, which is gonna be, it's a weird size. It's 5.5 by 9 1/4. Okay, so I have just an 8.5 by 11 sheet of lemon lolly. So we're actually gonna cut it down. I wanted to show you this because it does, you use your whole paper. So it's 9 1/4. So 9.25 1/4, 9 1/4. And then you're gonna turn it and cut it at 5.5. Okay. So the nice thing is you will have this strip left over, which is 3 inches wide. And then we're gonna cut that down to 6 inches. And that's gonna give us the little topper part of the card. So now I'm just gonna score this at 3 inches because it's just fold in half. That's what the little mini card is. And then let's go ahead and score this. It only has 2 scores. It's at 3.5, you're gonna go horizontal. So 3.5 and 7 3/4. Okay, so that's all you're doing there. I'm gonna put my cutter aside here a second. And then let's go ahead and burnish this. And then we're gonna go ahead and decorate it. And I'm using Latte Love. It's an online exclusive, which you know, I used to not be a huge coffee person before I married Edwin almost 31 years ago next month. And he drinks heavy duty coffee. I drink a little coffee with my creamer. So, but I love this set. I think it's so fun. So let's go ahead and put everything together. So this side flap for my pecan pie is 1 1/4 by 5 1/4. So I just made this a 1/4 inch smaller. So it's 1 inch by 5. All right, so we're just gonna layer that on that. Just frame it out if I can do that. Okay, there we go. And then we're gonna lay that on top of that piece. Minimal stamping here, just really utilizing the designer series paper. Now, the first 2 designer series paper I used, those are 15% off right now till the end of August, which is awesome. So there's our first. Now this is an online exclusive, so it's not on sale, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would buy a million packs of it. And then I'm just gonna layer that on top. So this piece, if I didn't say, which I don't think I did, this front piece is the pecan pie is 5 1/4 by 3 1/4. So then I just made this piece a 1/4 inch smaller, which would be 3 by 5. So we're gonna go ahead and put that on the front. So you wanna get this all done before you put the little mini card on, because that's gonna sit on top of all of this. So we're gonna do that. Pretty, pretty. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, and then we're gonna do the inside part. So this is part of that paper pack as well. And I thought, you know what? The inside needs some little bit of color, not just all browns, right? So we're gonna do that. So let's see, the inside, this piece is 4 inches by 5 1/4. And so this piece would be 1/4 inch smaller on each side. So this would be 5 by 3 1/4. I didn't do any eighths. Sometimes eighths look really elegant, but they're a real challenge sometimes for people to cut. So I try to keep it pretty simple. Okay, so there is all our designer series paper. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. Now let's go ahead and do our stamping, okay? So this piece is gonna go on the inside here. And let's see, this piece is measured 4 by 3, this white piece. Let me put my glue up before I do any more damage here. And I'm gonna use the pecan pie. Now I did in my sample use the early espresso as well. And you know, I'm just not as crazy about it as I am the pecan pie. It just goes with it so well. I'm actually gonna grab my little pad here to stamp on so it looks decent. All right, and we're just gonna stamp it right in the middle. Hello there, let's catch up. Yes, beautiful. And then of course you have to have the little coffee splash in the corner. Yeah, right? So then let's go ahead and put this in the center. And put that right there. So cute. Oh my gosh. All right, so let's do now the little card that's gonna go on top. And this gets stamped as well. So let me find my stamp. And it says, "You're the best part of my day." And I'm gonna just stamp that right in the middle again. And of course, we're gonna do another coffee splatter right in the center. Okay, so that's the inside of your little card. And then you're going to, we've already scored it. So make sure it's opening the correct way. Remember, our normal way is this way, but we want it to open opposite that. So then this will go in the inside of the card. And so this, of course, card is 3 by 6, and the inside then piece is 2 1/4 by 2, or I'm sorry, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. So you're gonna do that on the inside. And then on the outside, I wanted to utilize the paper again. And of course the pecan pie, again, would be 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. And then the designer paper would be 2 1/2 by 2 1/2. So let's get that down. And again, make sure your card's going the right way. I know it's gonna throw you off because it's opening the wrong way, but that's the way you want it to open it. So let's get that down real quick. All right. So then you have nice 3 layers there. And then on your main card, let's close this before I put my hands in it. And on your main card, so you're gonna close it up and you're gonna put it on this right here, but make sure you don't put adhesive all over this. You only want it on about 1 inch of this. So I'm just gonna do that. And you could use tear tape too. Tear tape would be a good thing because someone's gonna be opening and closing this, whoever you give it to. So I'm just gonna kind of center it in the middle and I'm just gonna hold it down for a second. Okay, so that is what it looks like right now. So again, you can fold it in that way or you can just let it lay on the top, but I do like it this way a little bit better. So then I took one of the die cuts from this and cut out one of the little cups so you can see that. There's so many cute little cups in that designer paper that it's hard to decide what you want to use. So let's go ahead and pop that up. And don't be afraid to use up those dimensionals, ladies. You need to make sure this is not sinking in any places. Using one, in my opinion, is not good. I've seen people do that and then the middles start to sink and then your card comes off looking a little cheap. So you want to put this here. I'm just going to kind of put the handle up a little bit. And then of course you need a little bit of bling, right? And this is the bling that goes with it. Let's see. I think though I want to use some of the white because we have a lot of dark happening. We might put some dark right there, but we'll use some white as well. I guess I should have opened that up ahead of time. All right, there we go. So I'm going to use actually a dark one right here. Going off your little triangle premise. Yeah, a white one would have just went right into the paper. And then we'll put another one here. These kind of look like the foam swirling on the coffee is what those are meant to do. And so there you have your third fun fold. Fun! So you keep opening it and it just keeps opening. All right, ladies, and gents, I should say, that is it for the fun folds. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know. And I will post the measurements and the score lines in the comments section of the video. Have a great day and happy stamping.